Hey everyone, and welcome to the Nutrition Edge, where we dig into the science behind our nutrition. Ever wonder if something as simple as a grain could be a powerful weapon against deep-rooted health issues in children? Well, a new paper gives us a clue into just that. Today, we're diving into a study about finger millet, a traditional Indian grain, and its potential to help children struggling with moderate acute malnutrition. We'll explore how they developed a new food product, how they tested it, and what the early results suggest about its impact on both nutrition and the gut health of these kids. Let's start with the big picture. Malnutrition, especially in young children, is a huge global problem. It doesn't just mean being too skinny. It affects their growth, their immune systems, and their ability to learn. Traditional treatments often focus on just putting weight back on, but they might miss a crucial piece of the puzzle, the gut. Your gut microbiome, this bustling city of tiny organisms in your intestines, it plays a massive role in how you digest food, absorb nutrients, and even how your immune system works. When kids are malnourished, their gut microbiome can get pretty out of whack, and that can make it even harder for them to get better. So researchers in India decided to look at finger millet. They chose a specific variety called GPU-28 because it's common and has a great nutritional profile. Think of it as a super grain packed with fiber, calcium, and micronutrients. But they didn't just use it raw. They put the finger millet through a few steps to make it even better. First, they soaked it, then germinated it for 2 days. Germinating can help make nutrients easier to absorb and reduce things called antinutrients that can block nutrient uptake. After that, they roasted it to improve the flavor and crunch. And, importantly, they used gamma irradiation. Now, I know irradiation sounds a bit sci-fi, but in food safety, it is a way to kill off harmful bacteria and make the food safer. They used doses considered safe and effective for improving food safety and shelf life. Using this specially treated finger millet, they developed a new complementary food, which they called FMCF. They also made a second version, let's call it RUT-2, which was more like a traditional fortified food, but with natural sweetener instead of refined sugar. The goal was to create foods that provide about 75 calories per kilogram of body weight per Dalton Y, which is in line with what is recommended for children recovering from moderate acute malnutrition. When they looked at the nutritional breakdown, their finger millet food, the FMCF, really shined. It had more protein, way more fiber, and significantly higher amounts of calcium and iron compared to the control food. They also found higher levels of beneficial plant compounds called polyphenols and flavonoids, which have antioxidant properties that could help reduce inflammation in the gut. Now, developing a new food is one thing, but will kids actually eat it? That is where acceptability comes in. They did taste tests with adults and, crucially, pilot feeding trials with children. The results were pretty encouraging. Kids ate significantly more of the finger millet-based recipes compared to the control. The consumption rates for the FMCF recipes were often over 90%, with shorter eating times, meaning they were more palatable and easier to eat. Foods like FMCF laddu and porridge were especially popular, but to really know if it works, they needed a proper study. This is where a randomized controlled trial, or RCT, comes in. A randomized controlled trial is the gold standard, where they randomly assign people to different groups to test something fairly. In this case, they recruited 200 children in India, aged 18 to 59 months. About half of them had moderate acute malnutrition, and they were matched with healthy children as controls. Scroll study design and setting clear the children with moderate acute malnutrition were then randomly assigned to receive either the new finger millet-based food, FMCF, or a wheat-based control food called Balamrutham for 8 weeks. They didn't randomize individual children within the same center. Instead, they randomized the centers themselves, meaning each center received only one type of intervention food. This is a bit of a unique approach, but it is aimed at practicality in a community setting. They collected data at several points over 24 weeks, including anthropometry, which is basically measuring growth like weight and height and dietary intake. A really key part of this study was looking at the gut. They collected fecal samples both before, during, and after the 8-week feeding period. They then analyzed these samples to understand the composition of the gut microbiome and to measure inflammation markers. They also collected blood samples for some of these markers. The main goals were to see if the finger millet food improved the children's nutritional status and if it changed their gut microbiome in a good way. They also wanted to see if it reduced inflammation markers. To analyze the gut microbiome, they used advanced sequencing techniques. For inflammation, they used tests like ELISA to measure specific molecules in the stool and blood. They used complex statistical tools to try and figure out how the food, the gut bacteria, and the inflammation markers were all related. Now, for the results, the paper presents some early findings, even though this is a preprint and hasn't been fully peer-reviewed yet. The nutritional analysis of the FMCF showed it was superior to the control, not just in terms of calories and protein, but especially in fiber, calcium, and iron. The bioactive analysis was also impressive, with the FMCF showing significantly higher levels of those beneficial polyphenols and flavonoids, likely from the processed finger millet and date powder, which they used as a natural sweetener. The product safety testing showed no aflatoxin contamination, which is great news, and the processing method significantly reduced the microbial load. The gamma irradiation seemed to be effective in ensuring microbiological safety. The paper mentions the actual results in terms of anthropometric changes and microbiome shifts are still being analyzed. So we don't have those hard numbers of X% improvement in weight or Y change in bacterial diversity just yet. But the early evidence from the development and acceptability phase is strong. The FMCF was not only nutritionally superior, but also well accepted by the children, with high consumption rates. The discussion section really highlights the potential here. The researchers believe that the processed finger millet, with its enhanced nutrient bioavailability and bioactive compounds, can not only provide essential nutrition, but also actively work on restoring a healthier gut environment. They suggest that this could lead to more sustainable recovery from malnutrition, potentially preventing relapse by focusing on both nutrition and gut health. They're hoping to address the underlying biological issues that often plague malnourished children. Their ultimate hope is that this microbiota-directed complementary feeding approach can be a transformative strategy. Instead of just focusing on calories, it is about rebuilding a resilient, metabolically active gut that truly supports long-term child health and development. They also highlight that finger millet is a sustainable, culturally accepted crop, making it a practical choice for public health programs. So what is the takeaway here? This study developed a finger millet-based complementary food that appears to be nutritionally superior, safe, and well accepted by children. The processing methods were key to maximizing its benefits, and the researchers are optimistic that it has the potential to be a cost-effective and scalable intervention for moderate acute malnutrition with a positive impact on the gut microbiome and overall health. But now, for the critical part, remember, this is a preprint. That means it is new research that hasn't been put through the rigorous peer review process yet. So while the early findings are promising, we need to be a little cautious. The gold standard RCT is underway, and we need to see those actual results on anthropometric changes and microbiome shifts to confirm these initial hopes. What we've seen so far is a well-designed product development and an encouraging pilot phase. Future research will be crucial to validate these findings in the full RCT and to understand the long-term effects. This research is a great example of looking beyond just calories and considering how our food interacts with our internal ecosystem. It's a reminder that sometimes the oldest ingredients hold surprising new solutions. What do you think about using functional foods like finger millet to tackle major health challenges? Let us know in the comments below. As a researcher myself, I find this exploration of millets and their potential to rebuild gut health particularly compelling. It echoes the growing understanding that our microbiome isn't just a passive bystander, but an active participant in our overall well-being, especially during critical developmental periods. The approach of combining enhanced nutritional delivery with a focus on gut healing using a sustainable and culturally relevant food source is a promising avenue for addressing complex nutritional deficiencies. If you enjoyed this dive into nutrition science, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the Nutrition Edge for more, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.